Hi everyone, welcome to this month's Doughnut Club. Today we're going to be learning how to make chocolate donuts, our Valentine special. We're going to be adding some fresh strawberries maybe on the top. We have some cocoa powder and dark chocolate in the mix, so it's going to be nice, silky, delicious. So let's make them. So for the chocolate, what we need is milk, cocoa powder. We're going to be using some egg yolk, some sugar, some flour, and chocolate chips. I recommend to use dark chocolate because the donut itself is quite sweet, so you want to balance all the sweetness that you have in the donut with something a bit bitter from the chocolate. So I'm going to start with the milk and the cocoa powder. I have here with me a small pan, and I'm going to add here full fat milk, and the cocoa powder in there. Now this needs to go on a medium heat until the milk starts bubbling a little bit. So once you can see some steam coming out from the pan, it's time to switch off your induction. So this goes now on a heat, medium heat. It's going to take about 3 minutes, I believe. Milk and cocoa powder ready. I can see some steam coming out from the pan. That's it, beautiful. I'm going to take it out from the heat and I'm going to start preparing my egg yolk mixture. So for the next step, I'm going to use egg yolks, caster sugar, and flour. Now for the sugar, don't use all the sugar that you have in the recipe, only we need the 60 grams. All the rest is going to be for our double cream, so you can keep it separated for later. So again, only 60 grams of your caster sugar goes at this point on top of the yolks. Now, using a whisk, I'm going to start mixing the sugar, the egg yolks and the flour all together. We don't want to incorporate too much air at this stage, so I always recommend to do this process by hand. Perfect. So I have everything mixed now, even color, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. The next step means basically mixing these two things together. Now the problem is if you go too quickly with the egg yolks inside your pan, maybe the heat coming from the milk can cook your yolks, so we want to increase that temperature slowly. I'm going to pour the first splash of the chocolate milk in this, and I'm going to keep whisking. Once it's all mixed, I'm going to add a little bit more. And a little bit more. And once you can feel the sides of the bowl getting a little bit warm, that's it, it's fine. You can just go for everything at once. Perfect. So far we have almost all the ingredients here. Now this looks good, but we need to set this chocolate cream. Now the cocoa powder in the chocolate creme pad is going to give you color, but not that much flavor. So for the flavor, we're going to use some dark chocolate. At this point, it's time to add this chocolate in the mixture. So I'm going to put everything back in the pan. And I'm going to add on top of this my chocolate chips. The chocolate chips are going to melt in the milk, and it's going to give me extra richness and flavor in the creme pad. So this needs to go back on a medium heat for about 5 minutes. In that time, we're going to keep whisking all the time, non-stop, just to avoid having burnt creme pad at the bottom of your pan. So after 5 minutes, probably you're going to start seeing how the texture is changing. It's going to look more like a dark bechamel sauce. We're going to see some bubbles coming from the bottom of the pan, and at that point, you can just take that from the hob. So I can see now some bubbles coming out. Can you see those? Perfect. At this point, we are ready to stop. You can take your pan out from the heat. Keep your whisk on the side. We are going to reuse the same bowl that we used before, and this now needs to cool down. Before cooling down our chocolate creme pad, we're going to pass it through a sieve, so that's going to help us to get rid of all the lumps that we have in there. So I have my sieve with me on top of the small bowl. And let's just pour all the lovely chocolate cream on top. This is optional, you don't have to do it, but if you want a perfect, smooth creme pad, I highly recommend it. And now, a quick stir on top of the sieve, so all that chocolate cream can just go through. The smell is beautiful. Okay. I'm going to take also the excess that I have here at the back. And our chocolate creme pad is ready. Now this needs to cool down before you move on to the next stage. The next stage is going to be mixing some whipped double cream with more sugar into the chocolate creme pad, so we can achieve a nice fluffy flavor inside our donuts, but also you can just use it for cakes, for pastries, or you can just eat it like this, no? It's delicious. So before this going in the fridge, you need to always cover it with something plastic, ideally, could be cling film, or you can use also some parchment paper. The idea of the cling film is to have it right on top of your creme pad, so we avoid the skin on the top. Now, it's going to take about half an hour to cool down, and then you are ready to move on to the next step. So my chocolate creme patisserie is completely cooled down, so now I'm ready to add my next ingredients. We're going to whip some double cream with some sugar, and we're going to mix both things together, the whipped double cream with sugar plus the chocolate creme pad. The reason because we're doing this is the creme patisserie on its own is delicious, but the texture is not the one that we want. We are looking for something nice and fluffy, so for that reason we need the double cream. I'm going to have a big bowl and a whisk with me, and I'm going to add some double cream in the big bowl. And if you remember in the recipe of the creme pad, we didn't use all the sugar, we just kept a little bit for later, and that later is now. We're going to add the leftover sugar on top of the double cream. And now with a whisk, I'm going to whisk until I have something nice and stiff. Perfect. So this is what we want. Now, before adding my double cream into the chocolate mixture, I'm going to take the cling film out, and I'm going to use a spatula to break down this a little bit. This is going to be easier for me to incorporate after the double cream. So using the spatula, I'm going to lose the mix a little bit. Perfect. And once you have this, I'm going to incorporate the whipped cream into my chocolate bowl. And now gently I'm going to start folding over the double cream with the chocolate creme pad. Try to go around the bowl and mix everything underneath, fold over. Beautiful. So once you are not able to see any cream, we can stop. And here we have our chocolate creme patisserie. Now, for the piping of the donuts, we think it's much easier to use a piping bag. So you can just go for a disposable one or a fabric one. And I'm going to use a tiny jug. This is going to help me to hold my piping bag in the meantime. So piping bag, chocolate creme pad, and then slowly I'm going to start pouring this chocolate inside. Let's take the piping bag out from the jug. And now I'm going to keep nice and tight piping bag with me, and I'm going to spin a couple of times, so I'm making sure that all that cream goes right to the bottom of the bag. Then let's just take the air that we have trapped in the mix, and I'm going to twist this base. And let's make a knot on the top. Perfect. So here we have our chocolate creme pad ready to use for our donuts, but also for cakes, for sweet pastries, for tarts, or you can just eat it on its own with some strawberries on the side. Beautiful. So I have 5 bread ahead donuts next to me, and also the chocolate creme pad that we did together. Now it's time for piping. So the first thing that we need to do is the hole in the middle of the donuts. For that, you can use a clean scissor. It's going to be much faster, but also a butter knife. I'm going to show you with the scissor. So just let's go for a cut on the top. Now don't cut the donut all the way through. We just need to reach the middle part of the donut is enough. Right, so I have now the hole in all of them, and I'm going to cut the piping bag about 2 centimeters from the end. And I can see the lovely chocolate cream coming out. So for the piping, I'm going to hold with one hand the top, and the other hand is going to be in the middle, and this is going to help me to handle the piping bag in an easier way. So just piping bag, let's go through the hole, and let's place the piping bag in the middle of the donut. And now from here, I'm going to start making some pressure and lifting the piping bag slowly, slowly. Once you reach the top, you stop. And we go for the next one. Next one. Next one, and the last. Great. Now for the final touch, I'm going to add a bit of chocolate creme pad on top. So keep the piping bag 1 centimeter away, and this time don't move your hand, just press. Press, 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 And once you decide you have enough cream, you stop pressing and you lift. And again, stop and lift, and repeat the process. As you can see, I have leftover chocolate creme pad. So if you can check our YouTube videos, we have one class when we teach you how to make sweet pastry, and we're going to decorate those stars with some leftover chocolate creme pad. Now, for the final touch, I have some fresh strawberries with me, but then you can be creative and put whatever you want. You can use cocoa nibs, you can use some flaky sea salt, but let's go for some strawberries. I'm going to cut them maybe in halves. I'm going to place half of the strawberry on the side. And I think this is a lovely detail. Maybe if you are thinking on Valentine's Day, let's have some chocolate donuts with a nice red strawberry in there. So here we have 5 beautiful donuts, maybe to share with your Valentine, or on your own, I don't know, just enjoy it. They are delicious. The best way to eat them is now, when they are fresh. If you wait too long, probably it's not going to be the same experience. So about 4 hours shelf life, yes, it's a challenge. Right, so I really hope to see you next month. Happy baking!